FX Nation, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in this video guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something a little bit different. And I'm gonna give you an inside look as to what our trade room is all about. And we're gonna give you a small glimpse as to what actually happens in the trade room that we have for our members. All right, so we're gonna go into it, guys. This is the trade room normally is about a 4-hour session that we do during London, and so this is gonna be a short portion of that, so that way you can see what kind of stuff happens in our trade room. All right, guys. So this trade room video that you're about to see was literally just from last night's London session. All right, that was ran by Travis. So let's go ahead and jump into it, and let's not waste any time, guys. Hope you enjoy the video.
All right, let's start with pound US. Let's start with EURJPY. Okay, so looking at EURJPY, I'm pretty interested in basically this whole structure. Looking at this 4-hour chart right here. Like since around like 1 o'clock, I've been up since 1, and removing all the fancy indicators and all that, you kind of get a clear story of what's been going on for the past weeks. And honestly, on a higher time frame, you could clearly see that there's some type of market structure that is going on. Holly, yeah. So you can see that there is a market structure here, where you could clearly see that it's trending on this time frame. Like you can see the lows, you can see the highs, and on this 4-hour time frame, you could basically say that these peaks are these higher highs, higher lows. Higher highs are peak formations. So from last week Tuesday, I've actually left this target on. It was 118.761, still up there for that. Still have that target up there. And honestly, I do believe that we will hit this target eventually. So one application I do use, since this is a trending market, Fibonacci is an excellent application that you could apply right now that I've been looking at. So looking at this, you have trend here and then a retest to 61.8. This is a classic Fibonacci level, Fibonacci pattern, and then to the extension of 61.8. So that was the first drive. So you have the first drive, second drive. So going to the third drive. Let's see. Looking at my brain, coffee. All right, there we go. Like we're having some type of rejection around 38.2. So I actually, not on this, but on pound USD, it had kind of the same story, and I could see this push up, and we're either going to meet this high right here. So that could be also another target area. Possible target that we could see it come to, and that's just looking at this on a higher time frame. So let's look at the lower time frame and see if we could get some market structure around this as well. So let's go to the 1-hour chart. And looking at the 1-hour chart, you can clearly see that this picture matches what's been going on in the past week. So now let's look at some weekly cycles. We can see that we had a trending cycle on this week of May 4th. And then when we had a midweek reversal that week, pushing up into a market maker cycle, where we had a Tuesday reversal, and then a price came back and it ended where it started, and then we could see again that we had push into, looks like a trending cycle if you really look at it like this, because remember it's never going to always start on Sunday, Monday. So it's kind of like, you know, these weekly cycles, they blend. So if you look at it like that, you have let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days. That's a whole week of a trending cycle right there. And I was looking at this before, and you can see this is a wedge pattern, and this is them basically, in a sense, trapping volume so that they can prepare possibly for this week. So we need to. So this could be a sign that they want to do something this week. So we have the accumulation there as, and we could consider this a peak formation. Look, since we're already on the 1 hour, and then this. Like now, this is where it comes into level counting and all this other stuff. So this is a peak formation, and then the thing is, like, you have to consider what's going on here, right? Because if we're going to push up, the one thing that we want to make sure is we need a confirmation, because since this is a peak formation, can this pull back down and then say like this be like, for example, level 1? But what you really want to look at what the EMAs are doing. Like if it was before, it wasn't like this before, but before, if I roll back the charts to like right here, you can see that had the cross, and then this could have been like a possible level 1. But now we have a whole different case where price is beyond that. If you look at it, we already have the high and the low of the week established, and we have a clear, we have price breaking past that point already by like almost 35%. So the possibility that this will push upwards and meet the highs, we need to see what it could do, because this could possibly continue that a whole trending cycle, the week's worth of trending cycle, essentially. Oh, we got a message morning. I'm expecting a drop for EURJPY formation last week. I think is a reset. So yeah, so the key question is, do we have a sense of a reset that could possibly happen? And that's where we want to kind of pay attention to the pattern and the timing of this Tuesday. So we're going to really find out what prices wants to do when we go to the New York session. When the New York session rolls over, we'll definitely get an idea of like, will this guy basically kind of say like, hey, this is enough, and then kind of roll over, or will we see something where it could form like a huge M, come up to here, consolidate? Because obviously this is pretty obvious for the general retail trader. So this is it could get messy, is what I'm saying. So you can see something like this, and it comes right back down, meets these levels, and do something along those lines to make it a little bit more complicated, because right now it is looking super clean. That's what I could say. Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, if you look at the higher time frame, the price action looks way cleaner, and it gives a bigger picture of like, so like if for y'all in the advanced course, now we're doing more swing trading. So this is something that you want to look at if you're looking at possible swing trades, since you have the high of the week and you have the low of the week already established. So use those, and use that to basically go for more than 30 pips if the opportunity presents itself. So let's go down to the 15-minute time frame on this. Interesting. I've been looking at this for a bit. Asian range around 49 pips. And we're gonna let price do its thing. Right now, EMAs, nothing's holding it back where it is right now, because it was in between the 200 and the 800 EMA. So it's kind of like, I was thinking, oh, it's going to get sandwiched and then it'll probably break down. But then when I started looking at the higher time frame and if you look at the TDI in terms of the market sentiment, the higher time frame sentiment like 4 hour staying bullish. Daily is also bullish. So there's a lot of sentiments of this changing. And EJ, like since the beginning of this year, has been in a significant downtrend. If you really look at it, it like, don't worry about the messy price action, but generally just look at it. It looks like it was in a significant downtrend. So this does have the potential where you could definitely see a change in trend. And there's a lot of classical trading patterns that go along with this. Like if y'all familiar with inverted head and shoulders, you can clearly see that there's an inverted head and shoulders here as well. And for those of you that don't see the inverted head and shoulders, it's there. Boom, 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 right there. And out of all the patterns, this is probably the one of the patterns I do pay attention to, because you could clearly see the market structure going from low to high to a lower low, and then you can see the switch of the pattern to a higher high, higher low, higher high, possible higher low, and then definitely higher high. For my back testing, especially with market structures, the chances of it making a higher high, I've seen that it's around like 70% ish. Like I have to look back at that data, but it's been around 70% ish. So I really do expect it to take out one of these targets for sure, if that's the case. Just going off of my back testing and my previous data runs. So let's see. So yeah, this needs time to develop, so we'll let that develop. Pound USD. I actually just took this trade actually during the Asian session, because saw the familiar pattern. So let me start from the higher time frame and work our way down. I think I put this target as last week, that possible target. Can't remember. All right, but similar thing that I was looking at, where you can clearly see that it was a full downtrend throughout the weeks, months, and then you finally have this change in market structure, where you have the initial push, and then you have to pull back, and then this one was on the dot 61.8. Actually broke down to the lower time frame and understood that there is some type of market maker psychology behind this. So let me go to 1 hour. If you look at this, right, let's look at just 2 weeks back. We don't have to go all the way back. You can see that this is clearly a trending cycle, right? And then this is a market maker cycle, because you could clearly see you have false move, and then you have it pull back, right? So now the thing is, right, if we look at this on the hourly, come on, there we go. Oh, hold on, I gotta admit people in the room. My bad. 1 second, Jonathan. There you go. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So the thing is like, if you look at it, right, you have that trend. Where was I? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. There you go. So yeah, you clearly have this trend, right? But the thing is, it's just like same scenario as EJ's. Is this a reset? You know, is this a reset? Is price coming up and then it's going to come back down? Because if you look at the higher time frame EMAs, price is still bearish. But if you look at the TDI price action, TDI is clearly saying that the price action for the higher time frames, the sentiment is changing to a more bullish sentiment. You just looking at the daily candle, yeah, you can see the sentiments bullish, 4 hour bullish. So again, if I felt like this week, because we had that market maker cycle last week, and how it's been, there's a good chance that it could trend. So looking at this, put a Fibonacci on here because it's a trending tool. Very simple to use. You go from wick to wick, pullbacks. You don't even need these levels. 61.8. It's a very good rejection. So it has pushed up, and looking at this 15-minute. So this is what happens when you trade it so much. You know that there is you understand when you understand you could trade going off of the weekly market cycle structure. If you understand trending cycles, like me, I understand trending cycles really well. So because I understand trending cycles very well, I understand how price action moves. So my type of style trading has evolved from, you have type 1, type 2, type 3 setups and type 4 setups. But as you begin to know this pair and trade it really well, this is the potential that you could do, especially if you understand, like, for example, this Sunday, Monday has been nothing but consolidation. But if you look at it, the higher the week forms from Sunday, Monday, and what happens, let me remove this risk reward tool real quick. You can see that clearly when we reach this point and it pulls back, and you look at the sentiment, right? You look at the sentiment and look at the TDI on the higher time frame. You could tell that there's some bullish higher time frame momentum that you can use to take profit very quickly. So literally pull back entry, quick 30 pips that I got during the Asian session. So so this is what you could aim to do once you've got comfortable trading type 1, type 2, and type 3 setups and so on, and you get your trading style from doing lots of back testing. So currently price is rocketing right now. So we need the London session to develop a little bit more to see what we can really do with it, honestly. But I was looking at these pairs ahead of time, and it seems like a lot of the movements were happening pretty early in terms of entry times, and such as pound CAD. After that Tuesday session last week, so just looking at it from a higher time frame perspective, first of all, before I even get into the nitty gritty, you could tell that pound CAD since like May, the mid-May, has been in a state of consolidation. And I kind of put it in how I made the consolidation. Usually, I know it doesn't look like I aim for everything, but honestly, what I did was I just did a line chart graph, and what I did was look for kind of like some sort of resistance and support right here. And then I consider that as noise. And then I kind of aim for the lows here and then go back, and boom, it looks a little bit more cleaner. We're just trying to make some sense out of what we're currently seeing, right? So this is what we currently see, which is the consolidation. And right now, we need to see exactly what is going on, because this is not enough for us to see opportunity, obviously. So if we go to the 1 hour, last week, Tuesday, when we had this session, this is literally what I believe, yeah, Tuesday, let's see. I'm going to go back kind of to see and kind of mark it, because we were trading this London. We were like around here for London, right? So wait, move forward. Sorry, move back. There we go. Yeah, London, we were right here, right? So during that time, we didn't take anything because we were in the middle of this accumulation, and it didn't make sense to we didn't really know if this was a good profitable trade, even though it was pulling up to the 200 EMA. And it just like the price action looked a bit messy. But the good trades came during the New York sessions, obviously, and then the best trade was on, I believe that is Thursday, where we had this nice type 1 setup, actually. Morningstar entry wicks back up, and then this went for like 100 and could have held this and traded to the top of the range for 111 pips. If you could have gone for 30, but if you trade cycles, you could and you know that this is the low of the week, you could literally take this to the high of the week if you're trading like kind of like swing, especially with accumulation. You know you're at the bottom, like the complete bottom. So excellent trade. Definitely take a chance to look that over. I would definitely put that one in the books for journal purposes. So looking at this week, we have an even smaller consolidation. It's when we started on Sunday, Monday, and then this just broke out, and as you can see, it seems like it's retesting, just like how it did pound USD. So we need to see kind of like what is this going to do. And I mean, this is it. We have to also realize, you know, what were the previous, like where were we in the previous weeks. So yeah, and we have to keep in mind that we are in a major consolidation. So all of these things you need to consider when taking trades. So the main thing you want to focus on personally is the pattern and the times if you really, really, really want to trade pound CAD.
Travis.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like I trade that pair too. Looks like it's
Mm-hmm.
just been consolidating since Thursday, from what I can see. Pound
Yeah.
NZD.
Yeah, and if you actually look at it, it's literally just dropping volume. So like
Yeah,
now I'm looking at it, it's kind of like a wedge.
and that might be a good thing. Hopefully, we'll get a breakout and a major move.
Yeah, like so let's say if it was something like this. I'm doing 3 touches. And then let's hypothetically say this was like a push up for a retest. I'm trying to make this neat. A little OCD. Let's just say it's that because of all these wicks. So if we go down to the lower time frame, I'm gonna do a copy paste. All right. Let's say if it was like that, and say if it was going to follow this bearish momentum, and you could tell from the higher time frame, that 4 hour, there is still some bearish momentum. Let's look at the daily really quickly. Yep. So okay, so if that's the case, right? And Sunday, Monday, if we do, gonna get a little bit messy, but that's fine. Let's just put the low of the week on. Don't really care for the high of the week. Somewhere there. I mean, you have a lot of confluence to say that this could be a possible type 3 setup, especially if you get a pullback, and you know this is a pretty good I would say a pretty good detail to take this down for a type 3 if you get the right indications and the right and even more market structure during this London session. Yeah, definitely I could see that.
Yeah, and
Sure.
if it holds below the 50, that'd be very
Yeah, and
nice.
if it holds below the 50, like
We're
you just
pimping.
want to stack up as much confidence as much. This right here, I love it when it does this right here, like where it just tightens up and then just fan, and then that means it's just getting ready to like really fan out. But the thing is, it's just like the only thing you want to be worried about is that this is clearly all accumulation, and you just, I guess the main thing is just like when you have a wedge and it traps volume like this, like because it waves like this, like the chances of it pushing back up, you gotta be very careful. So that's why it's like the London session, you want to make sure like you get the best stop loss and and you do the proper risk management and take the trade. You know, that's the only thing I would say. But yeah, this I like this actually. Now looking at this, mm, let's say if it was, let's say if it did pull back up. Honestly, I would want to wait for like an M, because I want that additional confirmation. Like, say if an M formed and it was like right dead on to like the mid range Asian session. Nah, this period where it moves too damn much. I need to do like twice probably. Probably like 25 pips just for full protection. If you do like 1 or 2, something like that. And then if it pushes down even further, you just put it on break even and see what happens. I don't even put myself. I usually put mine in profit. I know I always tell people. I know it's recommended to say break even, but to me, I always like to put a little bit in profit.
All right, guys, welcome back. I hope that watching that video, you got to fully understand what goes on in the trade room for our members. And again, this is just a small portion of the entire session. The session's about 3 to 4 hours. And we do these sessions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And, you know, Travis does one session. I do the other 2 sessions on Wednesday and Thursday. So these kind of sessions are, to us, priceless, because it really gets to show our members how we can trade. We can break down scenarios for them in as price literally as developing, right? So very important. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of it. And if you guys want to join us, there is a new session, a new class that starts June 8th. All of the links are in the description if you want to join us. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, and enjoy the rest of your week.